waste my life. I don't wanna waste my life. Living in this world. It's just some things, there's no going back. You know what I'm saying?
jwoodbeats.com.
Yeah. I'm not the one with the issues. I hear you. Now here is your tissue. If I'm moving too fast, I might have to dismiss you. And it's really too bad, cause I really will miss you. But I'm not the one with the issues. I left him at church when I made it official. I murdered the curse with my own benediction. Left God in the dirt, call it death of the fiction. Superstition will be served an eviction. Competition will be left in the ditch. Oh my God, it's too damn hot in this kitchen. The fishes of men are now swimming with fishes. Oops, my bad, I guess I'm moving too vicious. Verses sold, I gotta put them on your wish list. Bless my soul, cause I'm dodging your little hit list. I guess you know, you just lost another witness. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here. I can do anything, fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the opinion, my biggest hindrance was I can do nothing but fail. Greater is me, I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity, when it gets rough, I can pick myself up and prevail. Cause I don't need anything other than people who fuck with me. Good business, it starts with good company. That's why your boy is obsessed with community. Cause greater is we can create opportunity. Doing what God never did, cause a God never could, but a people is all we need. Gotta let it go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to Bridge City Sunday Sessions. It's a Bridge City kind of weekend.
Yes.
How are y'all feeling out there, man? I hope you found some way to keep your mental space safe, to keep your physical space safe, and to keep yourself positive, productive, and progressive as possible. Welcome in, everybody. It's so awesome to see everybody already active in the chat. I think the poll this morning already has like 9 responses, so that is beautiful. Of course, as you're coming in, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that alert notification bell. Consider joining, supporting, or connecting with this community, channel, or content in any way that makes sense for you. And then, of course, check out our merch, because we've got some dope stuff out there, and we have some incredible books and all of those great things. All right, man. Yes, we got people out here that are doing fantastic. I love it, Kurt. I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so always, generally, let's kind of jump into the Bridge City news type of aspect. But generally, I like to remind everyone that we do have groups in our Discord, on our Discord campus. I think that's how I'm going to start saying that, on the Discord campus.
Yeah.
We do have groups in the Discord campus, and if there is anything particular that you're passionate about creating conversation around, passionate about building community around, groups are a great way to get that started. There's already a few groups that are existing, but they're definitely going to take some people who are truly passionate to pick them up and run with them. And if that's you, get in there, fuck around and find out, man. Get in there and mess something up, because that's really the way that things happen, right?
Sound like a shirt.
It does sound like a shirt, right? Also, one of the easiest ways you can start building local community where you are is you're already watching us on Sundays. Why not make it a watch party? Why not find 2 or 3 other people who you think would get some real value from conversations like this? And why not invite them over and y'all watch it together on the big screen, pull it up, because you can do that with YouTube now. You can watch it on the television. I actually found out that we have a high percentage of people who engage our live content from the screen, from the television screen. So I thought that was cool. But that's a great way to get started building some local community. And then, of course, you have the ability to pause these conversations while you're there, so that y'all can, what's the word I'm looking for? So that y'all can navigate those conversations in ways that mean something to that local group. And you build from there. So watch parties are a great way to get involved. And if you are hosting a watch party, please let us know, so that we can support you in every way that we can. And so that we can let others know, so that if anybody just so happens to be in your area and knows that you're hosting the watch parties, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go watch it over there. So that way we can actually shift from just conversations into community, which is the goal. And then of course, I'm going to say this probably in almost every video we do. Tell us where you're watching from. And moderators, when they do, please make sure to star their responses so we know. Even if you put it in before, I just want to make sure that it's represented on the map. Our map is growing like wildfire. If I could be a little, I can be a little exaggerating, but no, like in a year, in less than a year, our sense of community and support has grown from just, local to we're on every continent except for Antarctica right now. Yeah. And so that's a beautiful thing. And so I'm super excited about that. So of course, tell us where you're watching from. Also, please know that another part of our community conversations is we host Bible studies, a secular Bible study every Sunday, every Wednesday evening at 5 p.m. Central. 5 p.m. Central time. And for the whole book of Exodus, it's been me and Jason from Dragons and Genesis. So if you're interested in learning the Bible and laughing at the bullshit, come join us this Wednesday night.
And the chat be live.
The chat be live, right? Yeah. Like, yes. And I think the last thing I have is, of course, stay tuned to the very end of the show to see in credit format how our community has grown. I do have one more thing. YouTube has this new thing, and I like to try stuff because I'm a millennial. YouTube has this new thing that allows us to do goals. And so if you look on the top of the chat, you will see a goal. I don't know, does it tell you anything about the goal? Yep.
When you click on it.
Yep. If we get 10 super chats today, I will host a community focused live stream this week. And so typically moving forward with our live content, we'll put some type of little target goal like that. And we'll do all types of fun things with it. So there you got that. Sacramento, California. All right.
Yes, Virginia, South Louisiana.
All right.
DC.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. All right. So that's all I have. That's my little part.
Yes. And as you know, we are looking for additional contributors to join our live shows and help out on the back end. So if you are interested to join us, so you have a little bit of time, hour to 2.5 hours on a Sunday or a Wednesday to help us out, feel free to sign up on the calendar. It's very easy. We'll pop it in the link in the chat. You just basically click a Sunday or Wednesday. You click a Tuesday. I don't know, but
right.
If you want to help out further than that, we'll put some additional forms in the chat at the end of the conversation today, so that we can get more information from you, because we definitely will love if you have more time. It'll be definitely helpful.
Yeah, it's always helpful. Like it's been a huge relief for me, because I think maybe it's probably been like 2 months now that I haven't had to too much participate in StreamYard on Sundays.
Yeah. And
so Sundays I can really be focused on the notes, the conversation, and the community, which is beautiful. And so the more people we have supporting, the more that kind of frees us up to even do more things. That's what community growth does. And so it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yes. If you didn't catch the Ex-Pastor, that was last week, right?
Yep.
If you didn't catch the call-in show, go check it out. It was awesome. Another amazing call-in show. So look out for December's the first week, the first Sunday in December.
Speaking of December's, and I have not put the graphic out yet, but December's Ex-Pastor call-in show will be like, it's gonna be beefed up. So instead of it just being me and Kyle, it's also going to be Drew Belkis. It's also going to be AT Coffee, and it's also going to be another brother by the name of Sean Towers. And so we're going to have a whole panel of ex-pastors and ex-preachers.
Way to close out the year.
Way to close out the year. Like we're going to do this one strong, and so I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to release the graphic for it. And all the other pastors are excited as well. And I think stuff like this is big for two reasons, right? Number one, it's people seeing more people who are out here willing to use their past to help their future. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean to use preacher talk when I did that, but it's Sunday, so bear with me. But that's to me, it's as an ex-pastor, as a former pastor, and someone who was incredibly committed to back then, what I thought was a people-centric gospel. And the thing that I always wanted was just to be able to be a help to other people. It's so refreshing to find so many other ex-pastors who that's their desire as well. The big thing, yay for December, that the big thing is to come from that side, to come out of that cave of shadows and still be useful and still do the same things we were doing in that pulpit, but now moving from a pulpit of superstition, into a platform of secularism where we can talk about progress and move forward. And that's what I love about these conversations. So yes, December is going to be lit.
Oh yeah, we did want to mention, if you didn't get your question in or wasn't able to go on the last show, please come back for the next show.
Yes,
so we can get you in.
And you're gonna have more people to answer your questions. So I think we had a few people that were waiting when we ended last week. Yeah, which was our first time having that. Like it was the first time getting to the place where we're wrapped up. We're 2 hours in, and we still have 2 or 3 people waiting to call. And so that's amazing. Yeah. If that was you, please stay connected in Discord. Because we definitely like to preference you and make sure that you get an opportunity to call in next time. Absolutely.
And if you haven't already, Black Non-Believers book will be available for pre-order still on Black Friday.
Yep, it's available for pre-order now. And you'll be able to get it. You'll be able to get it on Black Friday.
Yeah, so check that out and keep a lookout for that as well. And of course, we're going to drop the link to get some merch. You can look at all the merch we have. We have from little small stickers, from cups to hoodies, to shirts, just all the things, things.
I've got to at least get me a cup. I gotta get a few cups.
We got to get it in during the we'll get those.
Right.
And so it's window shop with a Y, windowshop.dodd.us. We have some people who took pictures and showed us what they got, and it looks awesome.
It's amazing.
So, yeah,
we have people who've gotten stuff before we've gotten things. Y'all are so freaking amazing, man. I love this community.
We so appreciate it. And yeah, if you are available, feel free to hang out in Discord on the post session hangout. We're going to put the Discord link for that session. Sometimes we're able to jump in, sometimes we're not. But we still love you all to meet with each other, get to know each other, hang out for a bit, get some peace and calm for the week.
And at the end of the day, we don't make the community. Y'all know this. I'm incredibly averse to building something that is personality centric or personality driven. That's how you create a cult. And so we should be equally excited to see each other, regardless if me and my wife are in the room or not, because that's what makes a community powerful. That's what makes it matter. That's what makes it significant. That's one thing I hated about being a part of the church world. I couldn't miss a day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I couldn't. Pastor ain't here. I ain't. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, I want to speak to Pastor.
I want to see Pastor. It's just so dehumanizing of others.
Yeah.
And it's so overinflating of me. You want to see me about stuff that I can't even help you with. You know what I'm saying? You want to see little old me, and you got like 15 people here who are incredibly gifted. So this is why I'm incredibly averse to kind of hierarchical structures, because that's what it tends to lean into us doing. Right. It's treating some person as if they are more powerful than everybody else, and it's just like that's not accurate, and it's not helpful.
Unless you're Lex Luthor,
right? Or Chancellor Palpatine. Let me stop. Somehow Palpatine return. Okay, I got to stop. Okay, I'm sorry.
Let's jump in.
All right. So before we jump into our discussion today, let's get a refresher on our working definition of drive on the screens. So that way we're all kind of in this together. Oh man. The drive defined is the internal motivation to achieve a goal and the action and commitment that keeps a person, these are my favorite 2 words right here, moving forward, even when the motivation wanes. And I'd like to add, not just even when the motivation wanes, even when your ambition has taken a hit, even when your determination has taken a hit. Drive is that internal motivation. And I've enjoyed this conversation so much, because this whole thing is about moving forward. In this series, we've been exploring ways of shifting from being driven by our circumstances to being the drivers of change that we want to see in the world around us. And honestly, what better time to be having these conversations? Over the past decade, I've become convinced that most people are so connected from their capacity to do that they often sit on the sidelines, becoming bystanders of their own lives. But we're not building community because we want to stand by. We're building community because we want to stand up. You know what I'm saying? And because we're encouraging every single person we know to do the same. That's how building community works. That's what this series about. Drive is about moving forward. Oh, I love that Kyle is going to be an after show.
Whoop, whoop.
If you're ready for this, well, our highest hopes is that by the end of this series of conversations, somebody finds the motivation, ambition, and persistence to assign some purpose to themselves and shift into drive. Motivation may get you in the car, but it is your sense of purpose that keeps you in the driver's seat. If you're ready for this conversation, go ahead and type "purpose goes a long way" in the chat so we can get this party started.
Yes, and to echo the sentiments from the introduction, a major goal of these conversations is to help move people out of the habit of being bystanders, as my husband said, in their own lives, and in the world we live in. This conversation has been twofold. On one hand, we're talking about the importance and significance of personal drive, a motivation and commitment to be your best self and do your best work. Yes. But we're also talking about a collective drive, a collective motivation, a collective commitment to connect your best self and your best work to the progress of the world around you. It is within this context, against the backdrop of the recent U.S. election results, that we can soberly consider how necessary it is to get off the sidelines. We call it get in the game.
Get in the game. Yes,
absolutely. So we need to be critically aware that anything that has happened and that will happen or may happen is happening under our watch. Either way. So do we want to be the type of people who say we saw it happen, or the type of people who can boldly say we did something about it? Yeah, get in the game. I love it.
Get in the game. And that's the thing. I know I have noticed lately, well, not even lately, again, this past 10 years of my life, I've been committing myself to observation of this, of how many people attach themselves to that bystander effect. Mm-hmm. And my life, I learned about bystander effect very early. And so we'll break it down a little bit, but let me give you a little context into how I learned about it. My grandfather horribly murdered my grandmother when my mother was 9 months old. It was public. There was a crowd. It was at her place of business, and he stabbed her to death. All it would have took was one or two people to intervene, and she'd still be alive. One or two people, all right? That's all it would have took. I became fascinated by this phenomenon of bystander effect, that the people who were there were so impacted by what they were witnessing against the backdrop of what they felt internally, that they were completely immobilized. And that's not just something that happens in highly traumatic incidents that are personal. You can also see that happening even with politics, even just with social issues, that people get themselves to a place where they allow themselves, and I don't want to say allow, but that they inadvertently become bystanders. Right. Instead of drivers of change, instead of initiators. Yes, let's build this. Yes, community strong and tall. I love it. I love it. So in psychology, the bystander effect is a social psychological theory that describes how people are less likely to act when others are present. Yeah. You know, 4 contributing factors have been identified at the root of this phenomenon. Number 1, the diffusion of responsibility. People may feel less responsible for helping when others are present. Somebody else is going to do something. And that's the thing that kills us every time.
But we
right?
say it too.
Yep. Somebody else is going to do something. You know, the other one is the fear of judgment. People may be afraid of being judged by others, which means if I do something, what if they say something? You know what I'm saying? And I just want to go and kind of just give you a little freedom there. Doing is always greater than saying. So as long as you the one doing, I don't give a fuck what they're saying.
Yeah.
Amen.
People gonna talk.
Amen. The other one is ambiguity. People may be unsure of how to respond to a situation. I think that's where a lot of us get stuck at. What can I do? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want to do what I think that was one of the biggest questions in the live I did on Wednesday morning. Where do I start? It's the ambiguity. And then the fourth one is social influence. People may be influenced by the inaction of others. Yeah. Which means because nobody else is doing something, maybe it's inappropriate to do something right now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Or you hear the thing, oh well, they ain't doing nothing. So
right.
I should do something.
Right.
You know, yeah.
Man, don't talk about it. Be about it. All four of these factors are issues of a misunderstanding of purpose. And I suspect that much of this stems from our superstitious attachments to both authority and divinity, which paints purpose as something that is externally gifted. There is often a discomfort in doing without being assigned.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's a discomfort with being the person to do something, especially when nobody else is doing it, without having a sense of external validation, because we've become so superstitiously dependent on other people approving of who we are and how we act. And this has robbed us of, in many ways, of our own sense of autonomy to do.
Yeah, well, that's the practice in church.
Yeah, it is.
You gotta wait till so-and-so elder or the pastor say you can do something, or you're ordained, or that God call you, or that they hear.
Yes.
You know.
So which makes us think how much of our issues with discovering or determining our purpose in life stems from this predisposition of waiting for eternal validation. External validation, waiting for God to say, yes, you can do this, or waiting for a mentor or a pastor or some type of leader to say, now you have been approved. Now you have permission to be this thing. And it's this permission issue. Yes. It's this permission issue. Like, I need permission to act. And I'm going to tell you something right now. As long as permission is what you're waiting on, you're never going to step over into your purpose. If permission is what you're waiting on, you're waiting for somebody else's purpose, because that's the only thing somebody else can permit you to do, the things that they want to see in you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there's, in these conversations, we're learning how to deal with the discomfort so that we can always be in position to assign ourselves whatever purpose and task we deem necessary for forward momentum and progression. I have a course that I wrote about 2 years ago called Cultivating Authentic Leadership. And I started designing that after I realized just how many people needed a burning bush experience to do things that were in their own best interest or in the best interest of others.
It's almost like call.
Yeah, it is. It is like it's a call, because that's what it is, and that's ultimately what we end up dealing with in that course, is this idea that people have created this ambiguity around leadership and around acting, based off of needing, again, that external sense of validation, needing a call. You know, you need to be called to do this. I don't need to be called to do anything. I can just look at it and see that needs to be done. I first started realizing this when I was a pastor. When I was a pastor, I had members who struggled with whether or not they should sign up to volunteer to be an usher. Yeah. I don't know if God wants me to usher, pastor. Like, Heather, why do you need a burning bush to stand up.
Can you smile, say hello?
We ushers, you can smile and point. Like, damn, just smile. Like, you don't. But honestly, you know, it's a funny thing, but we all do it.
Yeah.
There's something you see that is important to you and you want to do, and then we supernaturalize that shit and say, but I need a call. I need to feel it. You know, I got to follow my heart. And it's just like, no, if you see something that needs to be done, do it. All right. So I may rebuild that one as cultivating authentic living, because at the end of the day, that's what purpose is. It's a commitment to be as authentic as one can be in the world that they live in. That's what purpose is. It's trying to find your authentic identity. This is who I am, and this is why I've decided to be.
Yeah, I love that, cultivating authentic living, because it's like, how am I going to be each and every day, you know?
Yes.
Because some people are funny with the word leadership.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. That's why I had to develop this course, because people are, but people have misused the word so poorly. Yeah. You know, we've had a lot of bosses. We've created this kind of spectrum where some people are leaders and some people are not. In any organization that you walk into where some people are leaders and some people are not, is not a healthy organization. A healthy organization is healthy when everybody is a leader.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's what's needed. And the philosopher Bertrand Russell once said, the good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge. Today, as we dive into the concept of purpose, we'll examine how purpose not only drives us individually, but serves as a foundation for a long-lasting impact within our community. Yeah. And we talk about it. There's a group called Tendia, and they kind of are active in Baltimore. And I love that she had made a post on Instagram. She was like, okay, we see the results. Now, how are we going to, let's meet up, and how are we going to change our community ourselves? How are we going to continue to help ourselves? And so I love the direction that they're going with, because they're thinking about long-lasting impact there. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
As well. But purpose at its core refers to the reason or end for which something is done, created, or for which it exists.
I like that.
I do love that, because it's never worded that way. When you think of purpose, you think of why. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But for it to be the reason or into what something is done gives you another viewpoint or aspect of it.
Yes, absolutely.
And we wholeheartedly agree with Russell that when our purposes are inspired by love and guided by knowledge, we find ourselves a good life, a good living.
Yeah.
It was Jeremy Bentham who found that nature has placed mankind under the governance of two sovereign masters, pain and pleasure. The two P's. Yes. And then from a moral insight, he derived the rule of utility, that the good is whatever brings the greatest happiness to the greatest number of people. He defined the meaning of life as the greatest happiness principle. You know what that reminded me of when you talk about the Cosby episode, when, was it Cosby or a different world? And he said, if I just reach one person, we used to say that, if I just reach one, and we say that, then you almost
just failed the whole classroom. You know,
what about that?
When Theo was becoming a teacher, and he says, if I just reach one student, and Heathcliff looks at him and says, then you just failed the rest of the classroom.
Yes, he did. And that always is funny to me, because even in church, we say, if I just save one person's soul today, you got thousands in the room. From the church I've been to, that mostly mega church, but you got thousands in the room. If I just save one of y'all, then I did my job.
And it's like, damn, the rest of us are just doomed it, huh?
Yeah, we just here.
No, but I like that. Obviously, I'm very pragmatic, and I speak to utility quite often, you know. And so this one definitely does resonate with me, that and it's very highly correlated with purpose, because I think some people get lost in purpose in many different ways. But I do like what Jeremy came to, was just this idea that good is whatever brings the greatest happiness to the greatest number of people. Therefore, a major part of my purpose is trying to figure out what that means.
Right.
A major part of my purpose is trying to figure out what is the good that would bring the greatest happiness to the greatest amount of people. I love that presentation. And it's very interesting because, like, as a pastor, I wasn't really allowed or enabled to think that way.
Yeah.
To think that way would be considered to be like, no, you're leaning into reason too much, and and
which is so weird.
It's very weird. It's well, just like the video I just did this week on how Jesus became good. When you look at a lot of the stuff in the Bible objectively, it becomes pretty clear that this stuff is kind of written to make you think as low of yourself as possible, and then for you to treat that lowness as a virtue.
For sure.
I often remind people that humility is very close to humiliation, and it is often a slippery slope, that when someone is requiring you to be humble, that they're really telling you to accept being humiliated. I see it often. But scripture definitely does that, man. Yes, by offering each other affirmation and gratitude. I love that. So let's talk about some key questions to explore purpose. Let's talk about some key questions here. One key question is, why are we here? All right? Why are we here? Why? This question goes beyond the philosophical. It encourages personal reflection on what each of us wants to achieve, both for ourselves and for those around us. That's the why are we here. The why are we here? Okay, we can have the philosophical conversation, which I find to have no utility at this moment. So if say, why are we here? As in, why did the universe form in such a way that humans ended up on this planet? I love the thought experiment, but it is ultimately fruitless as of now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can have it, but once we come to our conclusions, none of our conclusions will be demonstratable. None of our conclusions will be provable. They'll all be speculative.
Yeah.
But when I consider why am I here, as the sense of I am here now, what do I want to do with my being here? That's the why. Why am I here equates with what am I going to do? Pause. I love it. What am I going to do with my being here?
Right.
That's the why. My why am I here is, if I'm going to be here, what am I going to do? This is more helpful than why do we exist, because it encourages an exploration of what could be instead of a never-ending search for what should be. I often find when people get trapped in should, they never explore could.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you think, well, it should be this way, it should be this way. And that's often how people think of purpose. People think of purpose as something that you should be. That's how they get it mixed up with this thing like call. But instead, purpose is actually something that you could be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which just kind of speaks to your capacity, So I find this to be really helpful against the backdrop of challenging situations. When things aren't working right, I often challenge myself with the question, why am I here? As in, what can I do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, our purpose as a community is to be a better way to connect. That's our reason for being here. That's our why. What are we going to do? Like, why are we here? What are we going to do about being here? Well, we're going to commit to being a better way to connect. That's our purpose for existence. Now, our mission is to build community beyond superstition. But our purpose for existence, in order to build community, we already got to be committed to being a better way to connect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I want to do a whole series on that, right? That's being the bridge. I'm gonna like, oh my goodness, we're gonna make it easy for people to connect to us. That's the good stuff. So as an individual, I've determined that my personal assignment, my purpose, is multi-purpose.
All right, I like that.
I don't have a singular purpose. My purpose is multi-purpose. My personal reason for being here, my why am I here, is expansively defined as to be able to do something about anything that impacts my life, desires, and goals. That's my reason for being. My reason for being here is to always be able to do something about anything that impacts my life, that impacts my desires, and that impacts my goals. I am very much a for this cause type of person. That when bad news pops up, when people say stuff, I say for this reason. Oh, I love this. People's reality is jaded when they just talk about should rather than could. Unlock your potential. That's it. That's the purpose of conversations like this. Oh, I love it. But see, this is why I respond dramatically differently than some of my contemporaries when it comes to bad news. In a world of bystanders and runaways, I'm here to be a reminder that fighting forward is always an option. That yes, we can sit here and be mad. Yes, we can sit here and blame other people. Yes, we can sit here and talk about everything that be wrong, or we can be the people who say it's for this very reason that I exist in the world right now. So while everybody else is getting ready to throw in the towel, while everybody else is getting their passports and running away, while everybody else is saying the world is never going to be safe for me, we're the folk that say we refuse for this world to be unsafe for anybody. And so we will do whatever it takes to create communities that make it safe for folks. In other words, to be able to do anything, to be able to do something about anything that impacts my life, my desires, and my goals. I want, and again, that's what we kind of started at. I want people to be able to get back to that place where they can get back in the driver's seat of their life, that there is no amount of fear, there is no amount of trauma, there is no amount of sensationalism that we're going to allow to take you out of what you can be doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We almost chain ourselves.
We do chain ourselves. Like I've learned how to recognize a losing argument. Yeah. I've learned how to recognize when someone is just defeated. You can't win when someone is defeated.
Yeah, remember we were watching the news and some guy was like, a former politician was like, well, now that he won, now do what you said you was going to do. We were like,
come on.
Do what you said you were going to do.
Man, yes. Yeah. Yes.
And so that's like, okay, give up on the first after the first try.
Give up. That's it. Give up on the first try. Like, I mean, we've seen so much stuff, man. I've seen people saying stuff like, well, now they deserve whatever they get from here. Like, wow, this is what the humanists are saying.
Wow.
This is what the humanists are saying.
Instead of being the cowards.
Yes. Like, oh my goodness. Yeah. No. But this is why I love what Muttley said. He says there's been a lot of us versus them as of late. That's not the way forward. And a big reason why we are where we are currently.
Yes.
And he is absolutely right. I'm doing my best to get them and they out of my fucking vocabulary.
Yeah.
It is just us. We are all out here together. Yes, we need each other. We are space apes on a floating rock in the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, we can't afford to lose nobody. We need everybody's hand at the wheel to figure out what the fuck this is that we're floating in.
Yeah.
You know? And so the goal of my goal as a humanist is not to punish people for doing the wrong things or not knowing the right things. My goal is to create a world, to at least play my part in creating a world where it is easier for people to learn and to grow. Because now we are already aware how superstition and religion has played an impact. Yes, they are just as duped. Thank you. Absolutely. We got to have compassion for everybody. And that's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do. But let's do it. Let's not do it. You know, I've been quoting JFK a lot this week. But let's not do it because it's easy. Let's do the things because they're hard, which I used to laugh so hard at him saying that. Like, it was the simplest thing.
But it makes sense for, especially like in the competition world.
Yes.
You know, it's not going to be easy. So you got to already put in your mind.
Yep. This is going to take work. Mm-hmm. This is going to take work. Another key question in purpose is what gives our life significance? Like, what gives your life significance? Significant doesn't necessarily mean grandiosity. And that's why my first book was written about significance. Because I was trying to find that for myself.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it didn't end up being, anything grand. It's about finding small, consistent ways to create value for yourself that means something to you. And if you notice, I use that phraseology a lot, like do anything that makes sense to you. It needs to mean something for you, because this is like the only way you're ever going to really be able to learn and grow and navigate the world that you're living in is if you are paying attention to the things that matter to you and not just allowing meaning to be defined by external factors. You have to get kind of in control of the meaning making in your life, which I'm getting ahead of myself because we're going to get there in these notes. But for some, this may look like personal growth, which the closer you'll get to me, you'll realize I am absolutely obsessed with personal growth. And while for others, it may be it's contributing to community well-being. And this is why I say you have to find out what's valuable for you. And then what I come to understand is that the more of us find our value, then you'll begin to realize that we all have a way to plug into each other and to help strengthen each other's value and to help bring more to each other's life. And that's what I don't want to build. I don't want to build a cheap version of community where we come together, but we're not creating value for each other.
Right.
Where the only value we have is sentimental. No, I want to have some value that's structural.
Yeah.
I want to have some value where when people need employment and finally want to be employed in things that they actually want to do in this world, that community has created that option. Right. I want it to be when people want to get an education, and if our country is still the way where you got to pay for it and their families can't, that we have community that can make those things possible for people. You have people who are trying to go to school and can't afford childcare, but building community can make childcare affordable for people. I'm not waiting on a government that I don't trust to solve my problems anymore. Right. I've already gotten in the driver's seat and said, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. And if I can find a few other people to do it with me, then the better. This is how you build community.
Hashtag I'll do it myself.
Hashtag I'll do it myself. That's it. All right. And then a third question is, what is the difference between finding purpose and creating it? While some believe that purpose is a discovery, we'll discuss the alternative perspective that purpose can be consciously chosen and cultivated over time. When I left the pulpit, I started wrestling with what my purpose would be. And I found the freedom to no longer depend on my pastors or my mentors or other believers in my life, or even depend on my interpretation of scripture or spirituality. I decided to choose who I would be in this world. Mm-hmm. I decided to name myself. Hell, I decided to crown myself. Yeah. I decided to take my seat. Nobody has to invite me to this table. I've determined that this is what I want it to be. And you kind of remember when this happened, because I had this conversation. Because like back then, like I just started smoking weed like in 2014. So back then, weed was everywhere. Like if I was taking a bath, weed was right there in the bath, and I was going to meditate in that warm water. And I'd allow myself to just kind of focus more and more and pay attention to me more and more. Yeah. And I had this weird thought, funny thought. And I just said, Alexander the Great and other people who've taken that type of name are only that because they woke up, one day and decided to be that. Mm-hmm. That, you know what? I don't see anybody else taking that seat, so I'll just help myself to that one. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Hashtag taking my seat.
Taking my seat. Yes. And that's one of the things that I finally got. That was liberating for me. It was like, I don't need anybody to tell me I'm great. I can choose to be great my damn self.
But that starts in kindergarten too, in school, because you wait for if the teacher didn't give you that green sticker or happy face, you feel like, oh, I did so bad when you.
All right, bitch, I knew I had these answers right before you put this green sticker on here. That's it. Yes, my pen, my book, my story. Yes, that takes us back to what's my motivation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Why would I choose to be the antagonist in my story? Why would I choose not to be the hero in my story? Yeah. No. If I get to write this motherfucker, this is about to be one hell of a comeback story. I'm about to tell y'all. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, I'm sorry. That got good. All right. So Oh man, I'm real. I'm trying to be a real life superhero out this bitch, man. I'm sorry, y'all. Yes, I love y'all so much. Oh man. So this resonates with our mission to build community beyond superstition and is rooted in a practical approach to life and growth. According to positive psychology, meaning in life is often derived from engagement and activities that connect us to something larger than ourselves. So for me, when I determined that I would assign my purpose, that I'd choose my seat, that I'd pick which crown I wanted to wear, that I determined my title, that no job would determine who I was from this point on. When I made that decision, it's because I started paying attention to how I have engaged in life, what my lived experience has been like, and what I wanted to do about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I started thinking about. I started thinking about all of the times I've encountered injustice. I started thinking about all of the times I've seen people mistreated for being different. I started thinking about all of the times where I've seen people overlooked because they didn't look the way other people wanted them to look, even though they were better than anybody else at the thing that was needed. Yeah. I thought about that and I said, okay, I don't want to be a person who dies in a world like that and didn't do everything that he can to change that shit. To change it, yeah. And that goes back to, again, why am I here if it's not to do something about it?
Right. And if you look out through your life, you kind of displayed that you're never just a bystander.
No, I can't be the bystander.
Yeah.
I can't be the bystander. But partly because, and I don't want to inflate myself, a part of that comes from my trauma. Learning about my grandmother and my grandfather and learning about bystander effect, it definitely put something in me as a young person to say, I don't ever want to be that person.
Right.
I don't ever want to be that person who's sitting on the sideline while somebody's life is being threatened. Yeah. I want to be the person who is actively involved to take action. And then, of course, this is why I gravitated towards people like Malcolm X. This is why I gravitated to people like Marcus Garvey. This is why I absolutely loved the Black Panthers, because these were people that while everybody else was marching, protesting, and doing other things, these people were building community. To this day, like, nobody has done, when it comes to the Black community, nobody's done what Garvey did. Yeah. It was like, oh my goodness, man.
And it's funny, we're wearing black today.
Black, right? Black. All right, so this could be relationships, community, or personal passions. Studies show that people with a clear sense of purpose experience greater well-being, resilience, and life satisfaction. And one of the things I can say for sure is that because I am so in tune with what I identify with as my purpose, I am much more satisfied than I've ever been in my life before. Now, when I say satisfied, I don't mean content.
Yeah, like I'm here, I reached the max.
Right, yeah, like no, I am satisfied with my pursuit. Mm-hmm. I am satisfied with my posture. I am satisfied with what I've set my eyes on. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I like that.
That is nice.
Fall in love with the journey.
Yeah, fall in love with the journey. That's it, because purpose, we've given different definitions. An easy definition for purpose is the reason for the ride. Yeah. That's what purpose is. It's the reason for the ride. It's why I'm in this vehicle. Yes. It's why I'm on this journey. Oh man. Okay. So this is good.
If you move too slow, sometimes you might have to switch your vehicle.
That's it. Like, and I have to warn, like two things about my experience with deconstructing and deconverting is that, number one, I felt like I was getting up from the children's table. Yeah. Which is why I am kind of so harsh on people in my comments at times, because it's like, I'm not going back there with you. I'm not going back to the children's table. Yeah. All right. But the other one is I felt like I was moving out of the slow lane. Mm. My whole life, people have been telling me, dude, you're ahead of your time, or you're doing too much. And I've always felt like I had to temper myself and taper myself to other people. And once I deconverted, it was like, oh no, I don't have to be anything according to anybody else. I get to choose who the fuck I want to be. Yeah. And I'm getting my ass back in the fast lane. And so that's why I'm hyper productive on purpose. See how I did that? I used the word. Purpose. And I'm satisfied with my pursuit. Mm-hmm. That's what drives me. But not only that, like, I bounce back from sickness faster. Like I used to get sick
Oh
and
my
I'd be sick
goodness.
for days.
For
Like
long
long times.
Mhm.
There was the one time it was a few weeks and I couldn't eat, couldn't
Out of
do nothing.
commission. Yeah.
But it's like the more passionate I've become about my purpose and pursuit, I don't, they say mind over matter. I don't know what it is, but I'll be down and I'll take care of myself. I do self-care, I'll take rest. I'll let people at work know, hey, I need to go sleep. I need to go let this medicine kick in or whatnot. But then typically I'm back up the next day, ready to go. Might even be back up by the end of the evening.
Yeah.
Because I'm driven right now. That's the name of the series, Drive. I am driven right now. And I've wasted so much time in my life. Yeah, so tired of a fucking mask. I'm tired of it. Like, this is me. I'm not holding anybody else hostage to my expectations of them. So I will no longer be holding myself hostage to anybody else's expectations of me. I'm going to be me unapologetically, unashamedly, because this is what I'm here. This is what I'm here for. That's my why. That's my why. All right. There's also the transformative learning theory, which suggests that purpose can be developed through disorienting experiences that challenge our previous assumptions. That was deconversion for me.
Yeah.
Deconversion challenged all of my previous assumptions and led to a refined sense of self for me. When they experience something that contradicts or challenges their way of negotiating the world, they have to go through the transformative process of evaluating their assumptions and processes of making meaning, which can lead to personal growth and expanded perspectives.
Yeah.
Purpose in this context becomes the foundation for navigating life's challenges with clarity and resilience.
I love that. And researchers in positive psychology study empirical factors that lead to life satisfaction, full engagement in activities, making a fuller contribution by using one's personal strengths and meaning based on investing in something larger than the self. Large data studies of flow experiences have consistently suggested that humans experience meaning and fulfillment when mastering challenging tasks, and that the experience comes from the way tasks are approached and performed rather than the particular choice of tasks. I love that. Hold on, let me read that again. So, where do I want to go? Human experience meaning and fulfillment when mastering challenging tasks, and that the experience comes from the way tasks are approached and performed rather than the particular choice of the task. And so it's almost like it doesn't matter what the task is, but how we approach it and how we perform it, basically execute, matters.
And it's sad because as soon as you said it and read it again, a scripture came to my mind. Whatever you do, do it well. And that's really what that's saying, is that it doesn't matter what you do. It's how you do it. It's the energy you put into it. Whatever you do it well. I absolutely love that.
And we see what people who we call great, or they have great greatness. It's like they're doing well in what they're doing. It may not be what you want to do or what you want them to do. But in the sense, they're doing it well for what they're doing. So.
That's right. They got to do whatever they're going to do. They got to do it well.
Absolutely. And a classic example of this is two workers on an apparently boring production line in a factory, which is lots of factories where we down here.
Yes.
And so we know that. So
I've worked in
it. So you know how to do it. You know how it is. So one treats the work as a tedious chore, like, oh, gotta do this again. Come on. While the other turns it into a game to see how fast they can make each unit and achieve flow in the process. And this made me think of myself, because when I'm doing something, even with my younger self, to transitioning into an adult, I thought, okay, how can I be the best at this? How can I do this the best in every position I'm in? And so I can always stand out. And that's how I look. And it really does help in a sense.
It does. It's the way you approach the task. Do you approach this like this is going to be something that's going to cost me? Or do you approach this like this is going to be something that's going to reward me? How can I reward myself with this?
Right, exactly. And so flow in positive psychology, also known colloquially as being in the zone or locked in, is the mental state in which a person performing some activity is fully immersed in a feeling of energized focus, for full involvement, can't get my words out, and enjoyment in the process of the activity. In essence, flow is characterized by the complete absorption in what one does and a resulting transformation in one's sense of time.
I love it. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about some frameworks to explore purpose. And I have a few that I've kind of pulled out here. The first one is the Pure model, and it's by Wong. And pure in this sense, please don't get triggered. Pure in this sense is purpose, understanding, responsibility, and enjoyment. Purpose, understanding, responsibility, and enjoyment. And this was pulled together by a psychologist by the name of Wong. Why didn't I get Wong's first name? I don't know. All right, so purpose, he says, select a significant life goal that adds meaning. So, you just select a significant life goal in your life that adds meaning to you. And then understanding, you build an awareness of who you are and what life demands of you. Life as you've chosen to engage it. Like I remember between 2017 and between 2020, I started wrestling with that very heavily. That what does life actually demand of me in order for me to get the things that I want out of life? And again, that was me wrestling with the difference between the way the world should be and the way the world is. Because that was a hard one for me, right?
Yeah.
Finally, really, because my whole life I was treating the world as I thought it should be. And that's the danger of superstition, because superstition tells you that there's this magical way that the world works, and as long as you cross your I's and dot your T's and all that stuff, well, not that way. It'll adjust. Everything will work out. Everything karmic will happen. It's just like, no, you have to treat the world as it is. And so this becomes about determining or figuring out the way you engage in life. What is life going to demand of you? And then responsibility. Take charge of your life's direction, recognizing it as a self-determined path. I could talk about self-determination all damn day. You and you alone are responsible for deciding what kind of life you want to live and what constitutes a significant and worthwhile life goal. Nobody else can pick that for you. Nobody else can tell you what is significant. Nobody else can tell you what is important. That thing has to come from you. You are responsible for looking around and saying, what do I want to be in this world? You are responsible for looking around and saying, how do I want to respond to life as it is happening? Do I just want to be a bystander? Do I just want to be somebody in the passenger seat, or do I want to move to the driver's seat? And then lastly, the E of his pure framework is enjoyment. Find satisfaction in the pursuit of your goals. Yes, we got to create our own. I love that, cross my eyes, right? Yeah. You will enjoy a deep sense of significance and satisfaction only when you have exercised your responsibilities for self-determination and actively pursuing a worthy life goal. This is one thing that I realized about my cousins years ago, is that what made gaming so enjoyable for them, is that it was something that they decided to do.
Yeah, right.
And discovered that they were good at, But the thing is, they think they discovered they were good at it. In all actuality, they developed to be good at it.
Right.
But it was easier for them to go through the process of development because it was something they enjoyed. Right. I sincerely enjoy helping people think. I sincerely enjoy creating conversations that make people think differently about the world they live in. I sincerely enjoy creating frameworks and thought experiments that help people tap into who they are and what they can do in this world. that brings me satisfaction. So even when I am locked in at my computer for 12 to 15 hours a day, is it a lot of work? Fuck yeah. But it brings me satisfaction. And I enjoy this. I enjoy the pursuit. I know what's possibly on the other side. This is my magic carpet ride. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So thus a sense of significance permeates every dimension of meaning rather than standing as a separate factor. But then there's also Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which we've talked about in a few of our series so far. And that is purpose aligns closely with self-actualization, which is the drive to reach one's fullest potential. Again, I call that a desire to be one's best self and to do one's best work. You know what I'm saying? The desire to be one's best self and whatever that means to you, and the desire to do one's best work. As a community, our mission is to empower members to pursue self-actualization without the constraints of traditional dogma or doctrine, finding fulfillment in a purpose that feels personally authentic and beneficial to others. Yeah. You know?
Because in I guess in everything that someone does that is beneficial, there's always going to be some exchange.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's like we determine what that exchange is.
But see, that's why I like people, like that's why I love helping people find their passion, man. That's why I love helping people find their purpose. Because when you just help one person find something that they want to get passionate about, when you help one person determine this thing that they want to do with their lives, you're not just helping one person. Right. That thing is a domino effect. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. That thing is a catalyst for change. So, and that's my goal, you know, is to help as many people as we can get fired up.
Right. And thank you, but we definitely appreciate you. Love you as well. And yes, in secular, so let's get into secular humanism a bit. So secular humanism encourages us to find purpose through the lens of human connection and mutual respect. Yeah. And that's from what I see is a lot what's missing from human connection. We lost respect, and I don't even know if we had it in the first place. We're still learning what respect is and how to give it, and how to understand it, you know. And so purpose isn't just about individual success. It's about contributing to collective progress of society, making our community a place for real growth and change. People determine human purpose without supernatural influence. It is the human personality, in a general sense, that is the purpose of a human being's life, which humanism seeks to develop and fulfill. Yeah. Humanism affirms our ability and responsibility to lead ethical lives of personal fulfillment that aspire to the greater good of the community. And that's, I guess that's a word too, where ethical can mean different things to different people. Like what is ethics in a sense? Absolutely. And that's in the workplace and society, and community and things of that nature. And so humanism aims to promote enlightened self-interest and the common good for all people. It is based on the premises that the happiness of the individual is intricately linked to the well-being of all humanity, in part because humans are social animals, and you always make that point. We're animals too, who find meaning in personal relations, and because cultural progress benefits everybody living in the culture. Absolutely.
And so now I want to talk a little bit about some practical approaches to purpose, right? And again, this first one is kind of a theme that we've hit several times in this series of conversations. And that is setting SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals create direction and break purpose down into actionable steps. And I think a lot of times people are afraid to do things that are so technical or so logistical. when it comes to things like purpose, because you just want to wake up and know your purpose. And it's just like, trust me on this. You are a multi-purpose species. You are a multi-purpose tool. Purpose is highly correlated with utility. So one of the greatest ways that you can explore what you'd like to consider as your purpose is to explore different things that you can do that are useful. And again, that use is determined, the value of that use, of course, is determined by you. What are some things that you can do? In the concept of that's in against the context of your individualism, but then also explore that within the context of community, right? In the community, what are some things that you could be doing that could help other people? Those are ways you can explore different ways of trying to figure out what you might find as purpose. Again, I don't like talking about purpose is in this, like in the same sense of calling, where there's this one thing that I'm supposed to do with my life.
Yeah.
I'm more connected with the idea of being multi-purpose. That I have plenty of purposes. One of my purposes is to be a father. One of my purposes is to be a husband. One of my purposes is to be an operations manager. One of my purposes is to be an author. I have plenty of purposes. I can do a lot of things. That's it. I'm a Swiss Army. And that's right. And they're all connected. And what I find is that most people are. I find that many of us have gotten stuck on these very platonic ideas of everybody has to just be good at one thing. And that's how call and purpose really got resonated in our society as this very linear, eagle-eyed view thing. When in all actuality, purpose is whatever the fuck you decide to do with your life.
Yeah.
You're here. What you're deciding to do with your existence is ultimately what determines or defines your purpose.
Right.
That's good stuff. All right. So setting SMART goals is a good place to start. Goals that are specific. What is something I can specifically do? How can I measure this thing that I can do? How attainable is this thing that I can do?
And you can be realistic and attainable. It can be in layers.
Right? Yeah.
Because you're not going to necessarily always get to.
Because that's what I love about it. Like I often do this thought experiment with my mentees called time travel, right? And it's, pick this really big goal that you want to achieve that there's no way for you to achieve, Pick this, and that's really easy for most people because most people have goals that there are no way to achieve.
Yeah.
And when I say that there is no way, I don't mean that there's no way, period, but like there's no immediate way.
No.
And so they'll tell me the goal, and so we'll go there. So this is the goal, and let's just give it something ridiculous right now. Like their goal is to be a CEO of $1 billion company. All right, and not one that they started. Their goal is to get hired.
Get hired.
Okay. Yeah. So that happening for you tomorrow is probably not very likely,
right,
unless you're already the CEO of a company that's like that, or at least the COO or some type of executive leadership team at a company of a similar size.
Right.
But what you do, and this is why I call this thought experiment time traveling, what you do is you begin to think about everything that person would have likely had to navigate to get there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you start all the way at the end of that thought experiment, and then you walk it backwards to where that person started, and when they were just as far away from that possibility as you are,
right.
And figure out what their likely first few steps would have been, and that's how you identify that first goal.
Yeah.
And so that was a good little rabbit trail there.
Yes.
The next one is self-efficacy, which we've talked about. I think we talked about in our trust issues series of conversation. And so this is Albert Bandura's work. Which his research on self-efficacy shows that believing in one's ability to achieve goals is crucial, which this is one of the biggest things that we do run into a lot. There are so many people who don't even believe they have the capacity to make a difference. They don't believe that they're capable of achieving their personal goals. And many people don't even believe they're capable of contributing to community. I have so many people who have refused to partner with me over the years only because they're afraid that they would mess it up. And I always try to remind them that I'm not afraid you're going to mess it up. I'm pretty sure you're going to mess it up. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to mess this shit up too.
Yeah.
But as long as we're committed to keep on going, then it really doesn't matter. I have no mythology or illusion of perfection. It doesn't exist to me. Yeah. Everybody's gonna fuck some shit up, like literally. That's I think everybody who's ever volunteered with us at all, that's been my little speech. It's just like, get in here and fuck some shit up.
I think when you starting something new or fresh, you the first lessons you learn is what not to do. You don't learn more what not to do.
You don't learn what to do. What is what to do other than the opposite of what not to do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, don't step there. I stepped there last time, so now I know to step here. Exactly. But I only know to step here because I had the grace to take the wrong step the first time. Right. And that's probably the most damaging thing that we've done in parenting, is made our children feel like making mistakes was somehow, somehow not helpful. I'm like, man, this is the best way to learn in life. We treated them like mistakes and failure or things to avoid, when these are actually things to learn from. Mm-hmm. These are actually things that can push your life forward.
That starts with curiosity.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, but that does impact so many people. So many people are like, I don't think I'd be able to help. I think I'd mess this up. And it's just like, well, you're never gonna think anything differently until you actually start trying. You're never gonna think, and like, here's the thing, like, and I tell people, like, instead of saying I think this is gonna mess up, just go ahead and embrace the fact that you are gonna mess something up, and then know that you're surrounded by people who love you anyway, care about what we're doing. Yes, come on now. Make it a damn mess. Yes. You're surrounded by people who do not have the expectation of you to know how to do shit that you've never done before. Yeah. That is an unrealistic expectation to put on people. Instead, we have to be more like coaches and cheerleaders for each other. That we have to encourage each other on. We have to push each other forward. And when someone falls, reminds them that they can get back up. Because you messing up didn't kill anybody. Like, that's always my big question. Did you kill anybody? Did anybody die? All right, we're good then. Let's go. Let's pick ourselves back up and get up. Oh, but I broke it. Okay. Is it a Ferrari? It's not a Ferrari that you broke. Then I think we're okay.
We're good.
I think okay. It's just computer system. We can put this shit back together real easily. It's okay. But a major part of, really determining your purpose is going to be getting comfortable with not getting it right every time, which I think that's always a major theme in our conversations. And it's because I think that's a major hindrance to people becoming more active, because it's just like, what if I do the wrong thing? Well, join the rest of us in doing the wrong things, right? This is how we get to the right things. But purpose is only effective when we have confidence in our ability to pursue it. Building self-efficacy through small, achievable steps can help transform our goals from abstract ideas into concrete outcomes, Yeah. And then I said I was going to hit this, so I'm glad I get to hit it. And that's meaning making. Meaning making through community. It was Neil Postman and Charles, I'm about to mess up his name, Weingartner. Maybe I didn't. Discusses, right? I didn't hear it, Weingartner. Yeah. And I want to make that a character in one of my novels.
Yeah.
This is the Weingartner. Okay, sorry. But discusses meaning making as an evolving process shaped by individual experiences and growth. In our community, we provide a supportive space for members to refine their purpose, adapt, and build meaningful lives together. Both of these men were educational critics and promoters of what they called inquiry education, which is something that I actually like. They published a chapter called Meaning Making in their 1969 book, Teaching as a Subversive Activity. In this chapter, they describe why they preferred the term meaning making to any other metaphors for teaching and learning. And I'll let you take over from this spot.
All right. And that is, in the light of all this, perhaps you will understand why we prefer the metaphor meaning making to most of the metaphors of the mind that are operative in the schools. It is, to begin with, much less static than the others. It stresses a process view of minding, including the fact that minding is undergoing constant change. I love that. Mm-hmm. Meaning making also forces us to focus on the individual and the uniqueness of the meaning maker, the minder. Yeah. In most of the other metaphors, there is an assumption of sameness and all learners. And you know, we're still on that. The schools are still on that. Everyone takes the same exam. Everyone has to do, show the answers in the same way, even though they can get the right answer in different ways.
As if everybody's signing up for the same job, everybody's going for the same career. It's like it's so ineffective. And
you get marked off wrong, and we have to we used to tell children, no, you're not wrong for this. Even in elementary school.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. And so the garden to be cultivated, the darkness to be lighted, the foundation to be built upon, the clay to be molded, there is always the implication that all learning will occur in the same way. The flowers will be the same color, the light will reveal the same room, the clay will take the same shape, and so on and so on. Moreover, such metaphors imply boundaries, a limit to learning. How many flowers can a garden hold? How much water can a bucket take? What happens to the learner after his mind has been molded? How large can a building be, even if constructed on a solid foundation? The meaning maker has no such limitation. There is no end to his educative process. He continues to create new meanings.
I absolutely love this when it comes to purpose. And that's why this was included in the notes, because this idea of meaning making, it kind of keeps us mindful that we are the makers of the meaning, you know?
Yeah.
And what I love that they brought out about this, especially as it pertains to the way that we learn and the way that we engage society, is that then the idea of making meaning or meaning making becomes something that is expansive. It's not something that I figured it out today and that's it. It's not something that okay, I found my purpose. This is going to be my purpose for the next 15 years of my life, for the next 40 years of my life. It suggests that as we are interacting with life in real time, we can update ourselves and what we think about our purpose. We can continue to make meaning in every step of the way. And so I absolutely love that. Throughout this series, we've been building a conversational roadmap to help us navigate, support, and troubleshoot as we are on this journey of drive discovery or drive determination. So for each component of drive that we discussed, we've been sharing a definition, a practice, and a posture, and a focus, and a guiding question. And of course, you can use these however you want to, as this is purely a subjective exercise, but it's highly helpful, I think. So today's component, we've talked about motivation, we've talked about ambition, we've talked about persistence, and each one of those, we've talked about things like petition and affirmations. We've talked about meditation as practices. We've talked about different focuses like discipline, you know.
Wow, that was MAP.
That was MAP. That's MAP. That's right. That's it. This is your road map. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, yeah, that's nice, right? See what I did there? See what I did there? Oh yeah. Oh man, just wait till we actually have physical community in real time where we can like build incredible presentations, because there's so many creative things we could have did with this series. Oh my goodness. But today's component was purpose, and I gave you a definition that I think is a really good casual definition that's easy to remember, and it's something that I kind of use now. Purpose is the reason for the ride. It's the reason I'm on the journey. That's my purpose. You know, a practice and posture for purpose, and I like this one. Proclamation. So we talked about meditation. We talked about affirmation. We talked about petition. Which petition is this type of self-talk. It's almost getting yourself together, self-checking, auto-correct. No, you can do this, you know, type of thing. But proclamation, unlike self-talk, it's what you say to others about who you are. You know what I'm saying? It's you proclaiming yourself. Meditation, affirmation, petition is all inner work. This practice is outward, because It's one thing to have these conversations with yourself and to get yourself right, but you also need to set everybody else on notice too. I just need y'all to know that I am. You know what I'm saying? You have to start proclaiming, which gives us both a posture and a focus for purpose, which is the same. The posture of purpose and the focus of purpose is identity.
Yeah.
It's the more active version of motivation. Motivation was who am I? Purpose is what am I going to do about it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the guiding question is, am I enjoying who I'm becoming? That's the guiding question of purpose. Am I enjoying the person I am becoming? Not do other people enjoy this person? Not do other people reward this person? Is this a person that I reward? You know, am I enjoying this person? If I'm reading this person's story, am I rooting for this person? Am I enjoying this person? That's the question. That's the question of purpose. Am I enjoying me? You know, I love it.
I love that. And that's how, I mean, you may ask yourself each and every day.
Yep.
Am I enjoying me? And if you felt like, not today, you got another day to get it there.
Well, it's like we just, you at that moment, you ask the hard questions of why. You don't treat it like, you have to treat your life as intentional and consequential. If you're not enjoying who you're becoming, you need to be doing something different.
Doing something different. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because who's in control of who you're becoming? You.
Only you.
Who's in control of enjoying who you're becoming? If you're not enjoying who you're becoming, that means you're becoming something that you're not enjoying, which means you're not being intentional about who you're becoming.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's the whole conversation of purpose, is giving people that permission to be intentional about who they are. That who you are is not just the cause and effect of other people's decisions. That you get a little bit of input in that, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And to sum up what we discussed, we had a great discussion on purpose today.
Yes.
We're kind of winding it up. We talked about purpose is a guiding force that provides direction, satisfaction, and resilience. And I love that.
Yeah.
It provides direction, satisfaction, and resilience. Approaching purpose through secular humanism, personal growth, and community involvement creates lasting fulfillment. And here at BridgeCity Global, we're building a supportive network of individuals committed to finding and acting on their purpose in a meaningful way. So join us on this journey, and together let's fuel a purpose-driven community that makes a lasting impact.
And so as we wrap up this conversation, I invite you, of course, to consider your purpose and how it aligns with our community goals. Here, of course, we're not just talking about purpose in theory. We're offering a space to put it into practice, to actually determine. You know, I like to discover, develop, and determine, you know, your purpose, to deliver that thing. Our mission, as you've heard me say plenty of times, is to build a community beyond superstition. One that encourages everyone to contribute something meaningful. Purpose doesn't happen in isolation. If today's conversation has sparked something within you, I invite you to take that next step and connect with us. Let's drive forward together, creating a community where everyone's purpose is not only supported, but championed and celebrated. Life gets easier when we do it together. So we invite you to join us and make the most out of this opportunity to be your best self and to do your best work, because that's what we're going to continue to do our best to do.
Absolutely. And we're going to throw some of the forms, the links to the forms in the chat for you. So you can, once this is over, you can sign up. You can give us your information and join the community.
Give us your information. No.
Yeah, that's right. Not too invasive. We promise. But
we want your firstborn child.
So we can experiment.
That's going to be a sound bite one day, I promise you. See, he told y'all he was going to take y'all first warm shot. It's like, oh, man.
And so thank you so much to those who stayed on to the very end. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and like this video. Go back and watch the other videos. Watch the lives. Once in a while, you do get a pop-up live from Darante during the week. So I hope you are enjoying those as well. If you haven't subscribed, go subscribe to YouTube. Of course, you have different ways to support. We made it easy for you. So look in the description. If you support it already just by showing up. All right. And showing out. In the comments. Thank you as well. Consider joining us and bringing a friend next week. Also, don't forget Bible study will be on Wednesday. Is that still 5 Central, right? 5 Central, which is 6 Eastern. And the time did go back last week for those who still trying to adjust for who that affects. So if you found these conversations valuable, and you think the work that we're doing is valuable, there's many ways that you can easily support, and that's by joining Patreon, becoming a YouTube member, which I saw there was a new YouTube member today from the Progressive Learning.
Awesome.
Callie B, we're going to call it. So thank you for that. Purchasing merch. Thank you for everyone who's already purchased merch. Don't forget to check out the website, the merch website, so you can support there for those who are looking to do it that way. And all of these are in the links in the description if you haven't seen it or need to know where to go. Your tax deductible financial contributions will be used to support, of course, the mission of building community beyond superstition. Thank you for those who are active in Discord. We appreciate you. We appreciate your conversations, and let's keep it going. We're also going to put our website, dldd.us, in the chat. Go check it out. You can see us as individuals, what we're doing there, what we're doing together, Bridge City. And it's learn more about our work beyond the bridge, because it's so much. It's so much there. We're also going to put the Discord link in the chat for you. And that's all we have for you today. Anything else?
I think that pretty much sums it up. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Of course, as usual, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that alert notification bell, and consider joining, supporting, or connecting with this community channel or content in whatever way that makes sense for you. We've already hollered about the merch and the books, so all that stuff is good. So we love y'all. Have a wonderfully progressive, productive, and positive day. And until next time, keep rising and be the bridge. We'll holler at y'all later. It's just some things, there's no going back. You know what I'm saying?
jwoodbeats.com. Yeah, I'm not the one with the issues. I hear you. Now here is your tissue. If I'm moving too fast, I might have to dismiss you. And it's really too bad, cause I really will miss you. But I'm not the one with the issues. I left him at church when I made it official. I murdered the curse with my own benediction. Left God in the dirt, call it death of the fiction. Superstition will be served an eviction. Competition will be left in the ditch. Oh my God, it's too damn hot in this kitchen. The fishes of men are now swimming with fishes. Oops, my bad, I guess I'm moving too vicious. Verses sold, I gotta put them on your wish list. Bless my soul, cause I'm dodging your little hit list. I guess you know, you just lost another witness. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here. I can do anything, fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the epitome. My biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me, I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity, when it gets rough, I can pick myself up and prevail. Cause I don't need anything other other than people who fuck with me. Good business, it starts with good company. That's why your boy is obsessed with community. As greater as we can create opportunity. Doing what God never did, cause a God never could, but a people is all we need. Gotta let it